Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Director, President, and CEO of the Wilson Center and Concordia Leadership Council member, Jane Harmon.
Good morning. After that powerful speech, I'm not sure I can equal it, but what I'm about to do is to present a woman who will equal it. She's another powerhouse. I'm Jane Harmon, former member of Congress, present member of the Leadership Council of Concordia, and, as you heard, president and CEO of the Wilson Center, a superb oasis in the mess of Washington, D.C. And I'm here to present the Leadership Award for Nonprofit Work to an exceptional leader and friend, Jacqueline Novogratz. Through her work with Acumen, you'll hear about it in a minute, she has championed an innovative approach to solving global poverty that emphasizes dignity for all and fuses profits with purpose in the marketplace. She has played a major role in reframing philanthropy under the lens of investment rather than charity, which has tangibly improved lives and systems on 4 continents so far. Concordia also recognizes the power, and so do I, of her personal model of leadership as someone who advocates for the value of partnerships, adaptation, courage, and her term, moral imagination. I remember when she appeared on the cover of Forbes in December 2011, which told her incredible story. She was the oldest of 7 kids. She stood out early. She left a very successful career on Wall Street at age 25, already successful, to start a microfinance business in Rwanda that turned into over $100 million in investment across more than 100 countries. She knows about cows, farming, cash flow. Earlier this year, Acumen closed a nearly $70 million fund to invest in companies delivering affordable and renewable energy in East African countries. Brava. Impact investing is an increasingly popular term. Jacqueline's impact on investing happened years before the term was coined. It's safe to say that she's already made a lasting, positive impact on the world. And on a personal note, as the first woman to be president and CEO of the Wilson Center, the living memorial to Woodrow Wilson, our first internationalist president, and the only one so far to earn a PhD, it is particularly meaningful to me to salute a most capable leader and role model who happens to be a woman. Hers is a rare profile. So, it is with admiration and great affection that I present the Concordia Leadership Award to a wonderful friend, Jacqueline Novogratz. Thank you. We gotta go here. Hold this.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jane, for that beautiful introduction. And I just want to honor you as well because of when she was in Congress, as you can imagine, you were one of the few who really transcended lines, and we need you, that kind of political partnership. And so thank you for being a role model to me.
Thank you.
It's a great honor to be given this award, and I accept it on behalf of all of the partners that we've worked with around the world, as well as my incredible team, and mostly the hundreds of millions of low-income people with whom we partner, who we deliver services to in health and education, agriculture, and energy. And I also want to start with gratitude. Gratitude to Concordia for the values that you put forth around partnership. Gratitude for the shoulders on which all of us stand, and gratitude for those who came before us. Gratitude as well for every one of you and what you do. Jane spoke a little bit about my background, but I think when I think about partnership, we have to put it in the context of the world in which we all grew up in, which was really a world of separation. We had the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector. We had rich countries, poor countries, capitalism and communism. And over time, as the world has gotten more interconnected, more interdependent, what we've seen is that we need a new orientation, because we're watching a convergence between the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector. We no longer have rich and poor countries, but elements of the developed and the developing in every country. And so I believe that learning how to partner in deeper ways is actually a 21st century skill that we all must take on. And my work with Acumen over the last 18 years has introduced me to extraordinary entrepreneurs and other kinds of partners that have taught us a lot about what partnership means. Jane mentioned the moral imagination. The first kind of partnership really starts with the deepest levels of our humanity, and how do we bring voices unheard into real opportunity. In Latin America, we're seeing some of the most creative entrepreneurs that are reimagining and rebuilding companies that are showing a new way of doing capitalism. It's only possible through partnerships with organizations like USAID that would give Acumen grant capital so that we can invest patient capital, 10 to 12-year investment capital in those companies to give them time to build markets, partnership, using money side by side so that we can actually build human capability to make those companies work. And then the next phase of it is finding those entrepreneurs who have that moral imagination, the ability to put themselves in another's shoes and move from that perspective. We have a company called Cacao de Colombia, which was started by a Colombian, Carlo Velascos, as well as a Japanese woman, Mayumi Ogata, a Japanese cacao whisperer. She was able to find the most beautiful cacaos, the seeds for chocolate in the world. And they decided to build a chocolate company in Colombia with indigenous communities, sourcing that chocolate so that they could export specifically in post-conflict areas. One of the groups with whom they work are called the Arhuacos. This is an indigenous group up in the Sierra Nevada mountains who have a cosmology that see themselves as responsible for holding the universe in harmony, and they see the rest of us as the little brother to their elder brother, given that we have not yet learned the importance of sustainability. Gaining the trust to partner required the entrepreneurs to really connect with the Arhuacos, because Mayumi grew up with Shintoism, another tradition that really sees divinity in all living things. They were able to find a human connection and not focus just on a contract, but more of a covenant. And what's been thrilling is to watch that company export not just beautiful chocolate from post-conflict areas of Colombia, but most recently, over the last few years, they've won several gold awards for the best artisanal chocolate in the world. In India, I've learned about partnership through Shafi Mathur and his co-founders, who created one of the world's best ambulance companies. But they started in a private company. We invested patient capital back in 2007. And it was more efficient, more effective than the multi-billion-dollar bloated Indian ambulance industry, but it was too small. They taught me the importance of partnership, because while small is beautiful, scale is critical if we're going to bring healthcare to low-income people. And it was really only the time that they started working with government and partnering that we really started to see scale. We also learned how hard it can be for a social enterprise to partner with government, particularly across multiple states. And that taught us, and certainly taught me, that it is in the difficult that we stretch. And that maybe, because the reality of true partnership is that it is difficult, maybe we should start thinking about difficult as proxy for progress. Today, because of that partnership, Zikitsa, the ambulance company, is one of the largest, as I said, largest ambulance companies in the world, with 13,000 employees, 3,500 ambulances, providing 4 million people access. And they're working to hospitals, and they're working with government to create new standards as well as policies. That is also partnership. And then the final example is a company that I think has worked with the most different kinds of partners, but shows what it takes to create systemic change. We invested in these 2 young guys with a solar lantern and a dream to eradicate kerosene in 2007. D-Light was the name of their company. And again, our theory of change uses the marketplace. We started with patient capital. That gave them the ability to go out, understand how the poor make decisions, build from that perspective, partner. But over time, we realized it wasn't enough. D-Light and we had to partner with foundations to give grant capital so that they could hire the right people. They had to partner with designers. They had to partner with corporations so that they could use their supply chains to extend their reach. And they had to partner, of course, with governments who were trying to figure out themselves how you create an off-grid economy for solar electricity. And so when those guys, Ned and Sam, stand on stages and talk about the 95 million low-income people around the world who have electricity, clean energy because of their efforts, it is a shared victory because of all of the partnerships they have created. And so when I think about partnership, it's a new kind of partnership that demands the audacity for us to say out loud the goals that we are trying to achieve. But the humility to recognize we are not going to do that alone. The humility to understand where we are strong and, importantly, where we are weak. And that takes a great sense of vulnerability. It requires us to have the grit and the resilience to hang in there, not for a few years, but for a long time, because it takes a long time to build trust. And importantly, it requires patience and kindness because of those times when we fail each other, which we do. And that, again, is where the difficult becomes proxy for progress. So I would just say to all of you that it is to each of us to partner. Partner to make markets more accessible to the poor, partner to make governments more accountable, partners for a world that needs every single one of us, partner for a 21st century that must define success not based on power, money, and fame, but connection, community, collaboration. And so I thank Concordia. I thank all of you, because what we're talking about is a partnership that builds human dignity. And if we've learned one thing in 18 years of building these kinds of partnerships to create change, it is that change is possible, and it is that we do not get dignity as a human race until every one of us gets dignity. So thank you, and here's to each of you, and here's to partnership.